70 days. That is how long this war has been going on. 70 days of American missiles, 70 days of Iranian defiance, 70 days of China saying absolutely nothing. And today, Iran handed America a 14-point secret peace plan. Trump looked at it and said, no. Now here is the question nobody on television is asking. Why is Iran still standing after 70 days of the most expensive American military pressure campaign in modern history? I'm going to answer that question in the next 12 minutes. And I promise you, the answer will completely change how you see this war. The mainstream media is covering this conflict as three separate stories. The first, America is going all in. Hypersonic missiles, B-1B bombers, special forces options, the most powerful military on Earth deploying its final blow plan against Iran. The second, Iran somehow has one card America cannot take. Its oil revenue is actually higher during this war than before it. Its missiles are being rebuilt during the ceasefire. Its leadership feels almost no economic pain. The third, China has said almost nothing for 70 days. Zero public statements, zero diplomats sent, $0 spent on this conflict. Three separate stories. Here is what the media is getting completely wrong. These are not three separate stories. They are one story. And the one story is about a single card. A card America cannot take. A card China is quietly holding. And that card is the reason Iran sent 14 points to Washington, and the reason Trump's rejection may not be the final word. So what is inside Iran's 14-point secret proposal? Iran sent this plan through Pakistan, the same country that brokered the April 8th ceasefire, directly to Washington. The plan is Tehran's response to a 9-point American proposal. Think of it as a counteroffer in the most dangerous negotiation on Earth. Now, Trump responded publicly on Saturday. He said he is studying it, but he is not sure he can make a deal with Iran. That is diplomatic language for, I am not ready to say yes, but I cannot afford to say no forever. And here is why Trump cannot simply walk away from this negotiation. Because the military options on the table, and America has three of them, all share one critical flaw. None of them address the reason Iran is still standing. Not the hypersonic missiles, not the B-1B bombers, not even the special forces option to seize Iran's enriched uranium. None of them touch the one card that is keeping Iran alive in this war. And that card has China's fingerprints all over it. Here is the part that will shock you. While America has spent $25 billion fighting this war, China has spent zero. Not one yuan, not one diplomat, not one public statement. And yet, China is benefiting from every single day this stalemate continues. How? China built something before this war started, a financial system, an invisible infrastructure, and that system has three parts. Chinese tankers operating in international waters outside American reach are loading Iranian crude oil every single day, 1.84 million barrels per day, during a war. While American warships patrol the Strait of Hormuz, Iran is not being paid in dollars. Iran is being paid in Chinese yuan, completely bypassing American-controlled banking systems, completely bypassing American sanctions. And here is the part that explains everything. Iran's decision-makers, the generals, the commanders, the people who decide whether to accept or reject Trump's terms, their personal wealth is stored in yuan accounts, Chinese investments, Chinese real estate. American economic pressure hits ordinary Iranian people. It does not touch the people deciding Iran's response. So when Trump applies maximum military pressure, the people making the decisions feel almost nothing personally. That is China's card. That is why Iran is still standing. And that is why Trump's rejection of the 14-point plan may not be the final word. Now you are probably asking, why doesn't America just take that card from China? America knows about this. The Treasury Department has sanctioned individual tankers. The State Department has named specific Chinese banks. Every relevant American institution knows what China is doing. So why hasn't America stopped it? One word, cost. Sanctioning Chinese state banks would shake the entire global financial system. It would damage American allies. American companies, American financial institutions. China holds approximately $800 billion in American Treasury bonds. If China decides to reduce those holdings, American borrowing costs spike immediately. And right now, America and China have a summit scheduled in just 2 weeks. The official agenda is trade, semiconductors, and bilateral relations. But behind every item on that agenda, sitting as the invisible background to every conversation, is Iran's dark fleet, Iran's yuan payments, and the 14-point plan Trump just rejected. That summit is not separate from this war. That summit is the war, fought with handshakes instead of missiles. America has been going all in militarily to avoid having to ask China directly, please stop holding Iran's financial lifeline. That ask is the single most consequential request an American president can make to China in today's world. And Trump is trying every military option available to avoid having to make it. So what are America's military options right now? CENTCOM gave Trump 3 choices: a compressed, maximum-intensity wave of strikes using Dark Eagle hypersonic missiles hitting targets up to 2,000 miles away, combined with B-1B Lancers carrying the largest conventional bomb payloads of any aircraft on Earth. This plan could deliver more explosive power in 48 hours than the entire previous 65 days of strikes combined. The second option: physically occupy the Strait of Hormuz with American ground forces. This is the most escalatory option. American soldiers near Iranian territory changes everything legally, politically, and militarily. The third option: a special forces mission to seize Iran's enriched uranium. 440 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60% purity, stored in underground tunnels that even B-2 bombers cannot destroy. 3 options, all real, all on the table. And here is the critical detail every analyst is glossing over. Not one of these 3 options touches China's dark fleet. Not one disrupts the yuan payment system. Not one removes the financial insulation protecting Iran's decision-makers. America is going all in on the wrong dimension of this war. Now, where does Russia fit into all of this? Russia has been watching this war with enormous interest and enormous silence. Because what China has demonstrated in this conflict is a blueprint for how a major power can sustain a sanctioned country financially, invisibly, while America spends billions trying to break it militarily. Russia watched America sanction Iran for years. Iran survived. Russia watched America sanction Russia itself in 2022. Russia survived, partly because of Chinese financial infrastructure. Now Russia is watching China hold Iran's financial lifeline during an active shooting war, and America cannot touch it without destroying the China relationship it needs for everything else. Russia is taking notes, because the next time America tries maximum economic pressure on any country, the China financial infrastructure card will be waiting. Iran's 14-point plan is not just about Iran. It is the first real test of whether American military dominance can still force outcomes in a world where China has built a parallel financial system that military dominance cannot reach. Now here is what you need to watch in the next 2 weeks. When the U.S.-China summit produces its joint statement, read the exact wording on energy. If you see phrases like energy market stability or supply chain integrity, that is diplomatic code. That means China and America quietly discussed Iran's financial support without naming it directly. Watch whether any executed American strike package includes Karg Island, the terminal that handles 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. That terminal is the physical loading point for China's dark fleet. It has been deliberately excluded from every strike package so far because destroying it spikes American gas prices dramatically. If Karg Island gets hit, America decided to take the card by removing the product the card moves. And watch the tanker tracking data in the 2 weeks after the summit. If dark fleet operational volume drops after the summit with no new American strikes, China quietly reduced operations as part of whatever was agreed. China will never announce this. The tanker data will tell you the truth. Iran sent 14 points to Washington. Trump said no. But here is what that rejection really means. America is betting that its military escalation produces enough pressure on Iran to get a revised proposal before the summit. A proposal that includes the nuclear language America actually needs. If that bet pays off, if Iran revises those 14 points before the summit becomes a celebration. If that bet does not pay off, America's president arrives at that summit table having to ask China for something America has been unwilling to ask for in 70 days of war. China, please put down the card. That moment, if it comes, will be the most consequential diplomatic exchange in a generation. America going all in on Hormuz, Iran holding one card. America cannot take. China holding it silently. This is not 3 stories. This is 1 story. And the summit in 2 weeks is where we find out how it ends. If this gave you clarity that the mainstream media is not giving you, share this video right now. Because this is the story they are not connecting. I will see you in the next one.